I'm Bob Maxwell. Sometimes automotive engineers can simplify a part of a car and accomplish extraordinary results. Here with a concrete example is Mr. Bill Burnett, Chief Ford Car Engineer of the Ford Motor Company engineering staff.
Our new ball joint front wheel suspension is simplicity itself. Let me show you what I mean. Here you see the various parts that go to make up the conventional kingpin type of suspension, and over here the advanced new ball joint suspension. In most kingpin systems there are 8 major moving parts, but in Ford's ball joint type there are only 3. Simplification makes it a better suspension unit, and here's why. In the kingpin system, the front wheel spindle swings on a complicated kingpin hinging here for steering, and 2 additional pivot points here and here are needed to handle the up and down movement of the wheels over bumps. In the ball joint suspension, there is only this single Husky spindle forging mounted at each end in these ball and socket joints. This way, one spindle unit takes care of both steering and up and down springing of the wheels. Our new suspension is a perfect example of modern, simplified design.
No other car in Ford's field offers you this modern ball joint suspension. It makes a tremendous improvement in steering ease and riding comfort, a difference you'll notice right away when you test drive the 1954 Ford. I'm Bob Maxwell, and from the Ford Motor Company engineering staff, here's Mr. Harry Smith, top engineer on Ford engines. Mr. Smith has come to talk combustion chambers, but perhaps some of us don't recall what a combustion chamber is.
Well, it's the place inside an engine where the gasoline and air mixture is ignited to make the engine go. Right there. And the better you design the combustion chamber, the more energy you can get from the gasoline to run the car.
I understand, Mr. Smith, that the 254 Ford engines feature a new combustion chamber design, the turbo wedge.
That's right, and turbo wedge stands for turbulence, which is vital for burning. You know how turbulence from a bellows will help make a fire burn better and hotter. In Ford's engines, we create a real tornado of turbulence at the top of a piston stroke by forcing the fuel mixture from this narrow area into the wedge chamber at jet speed.
Then the spark ignites the fuel while it's still swirling?
Exactly. You get more complete burning of the fuel. And this means that every 54 Ford owner will get better performance from every drop of gasoline.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. The turbo wedge combustion chamber is just one more feature that makes the new Y-Block V8 and the new I-Block 6 the most modern automobile engines in the industry. I'm Bob Maxwell. Generally, we think of automotive engineers as men who design something into an engine. But here's Mr. Paul Clayton from the Ford Motor Company engineering staff, who's made it a career to design something out of an engine.
It's good riddance, too. We've been eliminating the biggest power waster of all from Ford's engines, internal friction. Now, the greatest source of friction is the moving piston that rubs constantly against the cylinder wall. Well, naturally, the longer the piston stroke, the more rubbing or friction there is. So we've designed an engine with a shorter stroke. The result is that we have reduced the power lost to friction by a full 40%. Let me show you how engine life is increased. When one of our older V8 cars has traveled 85,000 miles, the piston has traveled 30,000 miles inside its cylinder. For this same piston travel, which means the same wear, the 1954 Ford with Y-Block V8 engine will travel over 100,000 miles. Short stroke means longer engine life, greater efficiency, and economy.
Thank you, Mr. Clayton. This low-friction design is exclusive to Ford in its field. Whichever engine you choose, the all-new 130-horsepower Y-Block V8 or the new 115-horsepower I-Block 6, low-friction design will pay dividends in finer performance, better economy, and longer engine life. Your Ford dealer cordially invites you to test drive the 1954 Ford.
Good evening. The ball and socket joint is one of the most flexible joint systems known to man, and a very important part of your skeletal system. The joint in your shoulder and in your hip are 2 fine examples of such a free-moving joint. Ford has put the ball and socket joint to work in the front-end suspension of its new 1954 cars. But first, let's take a look at the conventional front-end suspension system. A spindle arm, a kingpin, and the spindle itself are all connected by metal-to-metal connections requiring lubrication at 16 points. Now look at Ford's new suspension. A single Husky forging with ball and sockets at each end, sealed to keep out dust and corrosion. These points are suspended on rubber bushings and need no lubrication. In the whole system, there are only 4 lubrication points. Ford's new ball joint suspension system, exclusive to Ford in its field, is an integral part of the all-new 1954 Ford chassis. It permits greater wheel travel so that the front wheels of the new 54 Ford step right over the bumps. This means a smoother, more level ride with lasting new car handling ease. Actually, you have to test drive the new 1954 Ford to be convinced. Do it tomorrow at your Ford dealers.
I'm Bob Maxwell, and here with news about the beautiful new 54 Ford interiors is Mr. Ted Hobbs, Ford car fabric specialist.
This seat is from a Ford Skyliner with a two-tone exterior of cameo coral and sandstone white. The upholstery is a striking combination of coral and black nylon with a white vinyl bolster, and it harmonizes perfectly with the Skyliner's handsome exterior. In fact, all our fabrics are designed to harmonize with specific body and trim color combinations. Here's something interesting. We've combined man-made fibers with natural fibers to get upholstery like this new woven plastic, interlaced with metallic yarns. We use woven plastics to dress the interiors of all 4 Ford station wagons. Ford for 54 offers hundreds of color, upholstery, and body style combinations.
See them and take a test drive of the 54 Ford at your Ford dealers.